Okay, so the typhoon was a bust, thankfully. Fortunately, all we had was a bunch of rain. It's still drizzling right now, but I am so tired of being inside, I don't mind walking around in a little bit of rain. Oh Lord, here comes the rain. I can handle the drizzle, but I don't think I want to be out here in this downpour. Although it don't feel bad, it's still warm. Still ain't trying to get caught by a coconut. I wonder if that's ever happened. I'm sure it has somewhere. That'd be hell riding down the road on a scooter and get smacked in the side of a head. Oh Lord have mercy. Jesus Christ. All right, I'm soaked. It's stupid. That's what I get for coming out of the house. Thank God this thing's waterproof. Yeah, and I ain't cutting anything. I'm putting this on there. Oh my God. Whew. At least the rain's warm. That's how fast it happens in the Philippines. Check this out. Insta soak. Well, that's my shower for the day. Hey, if you count getting this soaked, this ain't even as bad. Last night, there was a break in the rain. I mean, it didn't stop raining, but it slowed down to a drizzle, just like it was just now. Oh my God, it's getting harder. All right, I'm going in. Hold on, I gotta turn this off. I can't do 3 things at once. Okay, as soon as I walk in the room, the power goes out. So it's gonna be one of them days. All right, power's back on. That was a little bit crazy. Good timing. I was just talking about how the storm didn't do anything, but that was just what happens in a heavy rain. So back to what I was saying, last night, there was a slight break in the rain, just like that, what just happened. And I took off on the scooter so I could go to the grocery store because I needed to just mainly pick up meats. And I got quite a bit actually. Oh yeah, let me show y'all this. I got some chicken and got all kind of stuff. I got chicken, pork, beef, sausage, and I got these shrimp. I didn't know how much they was. There was no price on them. There's only like 20 of them in there, but that's, plenty. I'm gonna make some pasta with the shrimp. I'm just letting them thaw out because that's what I'm having for dinner. But anyway, I got home and I found it on the receipt what it was gonna cost. And in USD, I paid 75 cents for that shrimp. Now, granted, that's just enough for my fat ass, but even if you was buying a pack for each person, there's 20 individual shrimps in there. So technically, normally that would probably feed 2 people, but in my case, that's gonna be for 1. But 75 cents, however many people you got times 75 cents, you can't beat that. But anyway, I went out and had intentions just like just now, walking out in the yard. I took off on the scooter, and it's about a in the drizzle, it's honestly about a 25 to 30 minute drive to get to the Robinsons or the Hypermart or Lee Plaza. No matter which grocery store that I want to go to that has the biggest selection. There's a few like roadside stands that's here, right here in Darwin where I'm at, and there's like a market in Bacone, which is it's not even 10 minutes up the road, not even that, maybe 7 minutes up the road. So there is a market that I can go to, but they don't have as wide of a selection. Like if you're getting other things, because I needed to get deodorant as well, and a few other odds and ends. So for me, it's just more convenient. It's actually a little bit more expensive, honestly, but maybe not. Because if you go to these individual places to where you can save a few dollars, you're gonna have to drive to these various places, like go to, a market here, a store there, so on and so forth. And, time is money. That's the one thing that we're limited on. We're all limited on time. Even if you have endless money, you're still limited on time. But anyway, because of that, I went ahead and rode all the way to the Robinsons and went in there and got some stuff. And everything was fine until I got to the Robinsons. I mean, maybe like 2 minutes before pulling up into Robinson's, the bottom fell out just like that. And I was on the scooter, so there's really nothing you can do. And the puddles get big fast. They go away just as fast as they are created, but needless to say, you got to slow down. You got to slow down dramatically or you will be eating gravel. So naturally, I'm soaked going into the grocery store. I still took my time, got what I wanted. Nothing gets me down over here. Like it's unbelievable. Like nothing really bothers. Everybody's in the same boat. Everybody walking into the Robinsons soaked from head to toe just about. Even the people that have cars, because you've seen how short that little stint was walking. Even if you have to walk from the parking lot to the front door of the store, you're getting soaked. You're gonna wring your shirt out no matter what. Because that's how much water falls here. When it rains in the Philippines, it ain't, most of the time it's not a drizzle. Anyway, so I got soaking wet anyway, so it didn't matter coming back, the ride home. I took my time. I even stopped and got something to eat. We went to, I had picked April up too before I went to the Robinsons. So we ended up going to the Lolo's Chicken, which I made a video about that place. It's delicious, man. 2 people can eat for $10, and you get plenty of food. I actually got leftovers in the refrigerator, which is expensive over here, by the way. That's high dollar dining, which is amazing. I think that's the cost of a combo at McDonald's in the U.S. I think, at least in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, I'm pretty sure, like even the Big Mac combo, I think before I left was around $7 or something like that, maybe $8. I've had people from California, I think San Diego is where I got that comment from. Somebody was telling me like a Chick-fil-A combo was like $12 and some change for just the normal like chicken sandwich and the waffle fries and a drink. That's crazy, man. That was sit-down restaurant prices not even 6 years ago. You could get a whole meal at Applebee's for $12 6 years ago. And for years, a lot of people watching this will, inflation, blah, 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 whatever. But the point is, 20 years ago, or 30 years ago, from the prices what McDonald's was 30 years ago up until 6 years ago, hadn't changed. They didn't change, but maybe by $1 over a 30-year period. And then all of a sudden, just in the last 6 or 7 years, man, it's everything's doubled. I was speaking actually to my ex-wife earlier, and the coffee that we always bought, which was, it's like the, I can't remember, it's the Walmart Colombian coffee brand, you know what I mean? At one time we started getting it because we both liked Dunkin' Donuts for a while, you switch up brands, and it was very good, but it got expensive. And we wanted to cut costs just a little bit because, we knew that this was coming. We were separating, saving money, all of these things. So we started going to the Walmart brand Colombian coffee. And she told me what the price of it is now. Like it wasn't even 2 years ago, we were paying half of what it is today. Like literally, I think it was like $10.99 to be honest. It was $10.99. Like 2 years ago, and she's telling me like it's close to $20 now, like $17, something like that. And that's just in a 2-year period. That's like a 80% price increase. And it's that way on a lot of goods because I hear it all the time in my comments. But again, this ain't an economic lesson. I gotta stay on topic. This is supposed to be about the phone services. ADD. Hold on, I gotta see if the microphone's even working. Yeah, it is. It sounded funny outside. I apologize for that. I don't know what was going on there. I don't know if it was picking up the background noise or what. But these mics are awesome. These little DJI mini mics. They're pretty cool. But anyway, back to the phone service. Google Fi, if you use it responsibly, because you can turn it on and off. And if you have a phone like this one, this is a Pixel 6. It's not the newest Pixel, but it can handle what they call a dual SIM. So I can put an eSIM from Google Fi and still have my Filipino phone number attached to it and just switch from which one that I need to use. And that's what I'm gonna do going forward. Hold on, let me show you this bootleg phone right here. I shouldn't call it, I shouldn't call it a bootleg phone because honestly, I miss this phone. It just can't handle anything anymore because technologies have changed. This is a Pixel 3. Used to, the fingerprint to open your phone was on the back. And that's so convenient. I love that. Like, I miss that, you know? Now you got to put your thumb on the front of it. Not a big deal, but this one's also smaller. And for some reason, do y'all remember, if you're old, most of my viewers are old enough to remember, you remember when the deal was whenever cell phones first started coming out, maybe even for the first 10 years, it was like smaller. The smaller it is, the cooler it is, the smaller it is. And then it switched, and now they're like, you know, we're carrying around freaking laptops like this, you know. Hey, how you doing? It's crazy. They just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger and taking up too much room in your pocket. So I actually, if my eyes wasn't so bad, I would prefer this phone if it worked as well as my Pixel 6, but it doesn't. And this is the phone that I had the Google Fi physical SIM card in. It's still in there actually, and I still have the number for it. But the only way I can do it is I won't be able to get this number unless, I just thought about this, I could just buy a new phone because phones are cheap over here. Maybe just, you know, not the best of the best phone, but maybe I could buy a new phone that can handle more things than this can handle, and maybe I could put the eSIM in that phone and then I could recover the number. Even if that's not the case, I'm going to get Google Fi, whether it's the old number using that physical SIM or doing a new account for an eSIM. I'm going to do the Google Fi because cost-wise, even though my first bill was $230, after looking at it, it's going to be cheaper. It's only $20 a month to have the Google Fi service. And if you are in Wi-Fi, you can use your phone like normal without using any additional cost. It's only whenever you're using data that it costs you a lot of money. I think it's like $10 per gig of data. And at the time when I first come over here, I didn't even really think too much about it. I'm on the phone with my buddy, man, and as y'all can see, I can talk. So I was rambling, and I'd be on the phone with my buddy a couple times. We talked for an hour, you know, not thinking about it. And I'm outside walking around in the Philippines. Great signal, by the way. Google Fi has better signal than Globe. I haven't used Smart. I'm gonna probably switch to Smart. But it has better signal than Globe, at least where I'm at. And from what I've heard from a lot of my subscribers is, it really depends on the area of the Philippines that you're in, of which service works the best. And a lot of the people that I have spoken to actually use both Smart and Globe. Some phones, I don't know which ones, you have to look this one up. Some phones will take dual SIMs. And even without a physical SIM, you can have two eSIMs in some phones. My Pixel 6 does that. I can have a physical SIM and an eSIM. So I could use my Google Fi SIM card in that phone, keep my Filipino number and my original Google Fi phone number without a problem. And then only have one phone, which now that I say that out loud, I think that's probably the best solution. But anyway, if you're coming over here, if you're coming to the Philippines, keep that in mind. If you're going to do U.S. banking, that's going to be your best bet because they're going to want, even like just for Amazon, anything these days, everything nowadays has that two-step verification. And now for some reason, I thought that your fingerprint or your facial recognition would be enough. They want to track you. Let's face it, they want your data. So they need that phone number more importantly than your facial recognition or your thumbprint. They want to know what you're searching. They want to know what you're purchasing. And that's how they do it. I mean, that's just reality of the world that we live in. I have nothing to hide, so I don't care. I don't care. A lot of people's like, oh man, they're tracking you. For what? What are they tracking you for? You know, I've heard that from a lot of my friends. And I've even thought that way too, but then, you know, moving to the Philippines makes you realize a whole lot of things, you know, and so what? You know, I don't really care. If they want to spy on me, so be it, you know. they won't see much, you know. That ain't like there's a lot to see. You guys see what most of it is. The only thing you guys miss is me picking my nose or sitting on the toilet, and I don't think anybody wants to see that. But anyway, if you're moving to the Philippines, you're going to want to get a Philippines phone number for sure. And you know, you can choose Smart or Globe. I would ask around for the area that you're going to and ask which one's better. But even if you buy both, you're talking $3 for the SIM card, $4 at most. If you buy it in the airport, it may be $5. So you're not talking a whole lot of money to obtain those Philippines phone numbers. So I'm thinking of doing that actually. Now that I've said that out loud, I think I'm going to move my Google Fi SIM card, physical SIM card, to my phone, keep the Philippines phone number that I have with Globe, purchase a whole nother phone, because I can get one for $100 that's, you know, maybe not as good as the Pixel, but good enough to use Messenger to communicate and to use your Waze app or Google Maps, which is the Waze, I think it's called Waze. I'm pretty sure I'm right on that one. Just to find your directions. Other than those two apps, that's about all I use. Grab, you can use Grab if you're ordering food, or if you're in a city that has, you know, Grab cab, like ride services or ride share services. But other than those three things, that's it, man. That's about the only apps that you need over here in the Philippines, and that's the truth. And getting all three of those services, now that I think about it, even if Google Fi, if I make a few phone calls outside, or if I answer or receive text because I use data, like if I'm at an ATM outside of Wi-Fi, and, well, they don't do that. If I want to use my debit card, you don't need to answer the text for using the ATM. They don't send you a text for that one. They don't need security for that one or anything, because you have your physical card. But if you make a purchase online, like if you're buying ferry tickets, that's when it's became a problem. If you're purchasing anything on the internet, they're going to want to send you a text to say that that is you making that purchase, which is for your security. It's a good thing. But if when you're doing that, you're outside of Wi-Fi, you're going to need to use your data from your US-based phone. But even if that runs me $50 a month, and I use Globe and Smart, I might spend $60 a month total in phone bills. And it really, if I plan it right when I'm making online purchases and I'm inside of Wi-Fi, it would only be $20 for my Google Fi per month, and then we'll call it 20 for both Smart and Globe. So you're talking $40 a month to have all the data that you could possibly need in the Philippines, no matter what. So that's definitely the way to go. Now that I've spoke to you guys, hopefully these pointers will help you out. And I'm sure you've seen other people say similar things in other videos, which I did. But I'm stupid and I didn't listen. I hope you guys are smart and do listen. But for now, I'm out.